Welcome to episode number 17 of Tuesday's Upset Forecast, powered by Bookmakers Bet.
Every Tuesday, we break down sharp betting angles across football, basketball, and other sports. Score 4 picks, 5 rapid-fire predictions, all in less than 30 minutes.
And as in every week, I gotta remind you that this podcast is much more than just a predictions podcast. You should go out of your way and visit our website, bookmakers.bet, to find the most verified sportsbooks out there. Also, visit our social media, our X account, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and make sure to hit the follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, as in every week, you see the two same faces. I am DimiCub, Bookmakers Bet native, and with me, Mr. Brad Thomas.
Oh, yes. One last ride, one final dance to close a chapter on this season. As you guys know, as he said, I am Brad Thomas, and I thank you for a great season. I'm excited to get into the action.
Oh, you just gave it away so early into the episode. I wanted to be a surprise, but as it's not anymore,
I'm not good
I'll
at
just spill the news.
Not good at surprises.
Actually, wouldn't be a surprise since we already posted on our social media. Well, I gave it away myself. So this is the last episode of season 1 of Tuesday's Upset Forecast. It is the last episode for the season 2025-2026 that ends in a couple of months. And today we decided to change the narrative a bit. We will not keep our usual structure. We will go into something different. We will spill the whole damn truth. We will reveal what will happen in every major league, from football and basketball, for the remainder of the season. Who's going to win it? Someone getting relegated? Top scorers? The World Cup is coming. Now I suggest we quickly get to the point and start with the first one. That could be none other than the Champions League.
Ooh.
I have some good ones here, but I'd like Mr. Brad Thomas to say his opinion on this year's Champions League first.
Yeah, I'm going to go with... I thought about this for a while. And, realistically, the best thing that you should do is bet someone in the bottom of the bracket. While Arsenal are the best team in terms of standing, I think they are the ones that have the most holes, but they probably have the path that looks of least resistance. But I didn't do that. I went against the juggernauts of Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, and I'm taking Bayern Munich to win the Champions League. If we think about Bayern Munich, the biggest knock on them has been them defensively. And yes, at times they have had their flaws. But if we look at the remaining clubs that are left in this, I would put Bayern Munich's defensive prowess or defensive control second among all of the teams. Yes, on their best day, PSG has a better defense, but PSG's defense has been off leaky. Liverpool's back line looks like it has their question marks. Real Madrid, hard to trust their back line as well. Barcelona, that high line offside trap normally costs them. Atletico Madrid, they love the action now. And then it's Sporting, right? And then we think about Sporting, they're just, of the names I named, they're just not as powerful in terms of defending. So then it leaves with Bayern Munich. But what also Bayern Munich has is the innate ability to score goals, even when they're in tough situations. This is a team full of really good goal scorers, and the bravado of Vincent Kompany has kind of transitioned through his tenure at Bayern, where it's not reckless abandon, but it's controlled pressure. And I really like Bayern. Even though they have to play Real Madrid, the kings of Champions League first, I like them to win it all.
So you think that this year's trophy will be decided by the defense, unlike what happened last year?
I think so. I think this I just have a really hard time believing that we abandon the traditions of football long term. You're gonna have to defend. I know teams are saying they're gonna outscore another, and that's how you win games, but the roots of all footy is based on defending.
Well, I can support your pick because we have talked about this off the air as well about Bayern's ability to win it all. I also think that they have the ability to outscore everyone, apart from being a very strong defense out there. As you said, the second best behind Arsenal. I could rank Arsenal the first, the best defense in Champions League. I'm not talking about numbers, of course. I'm talking about defensive consistency out there, as we've seen throughout the whole year. So yes, Bayern Munich is a very solid choice, and at odds around 4.50, to 5, I think you can find some value before they go out of their way and play against Real Madrid. Also, I see, okay, a bit behind the scenes info here. I see through our cheat sheet, we've both picked Atletico
Yes.
to reach the final. I explained why in a former episode, uh, which is also on YouTube, that specific part of the episode. I would like to hear your side of the story on why Atletico can reach the
Yes.
final.
So this is actually really sad kind of when so on another show I talked about Atletico to win it all before the last round, and they're 35-1. I picked Atletico and Real Madrid, and Real Madrid was 9-1. And sometimes in this industry, we are so busy, we get so caught up. I forgot to make the bets on either of them. And I still like Atleti to have a really legitimate shot to win it all, but price wise has just been sucked out of it. But first, they get to play Barcelona. Over 2 legs, Barcelona are ultimately dangerous. But if Atleti can catch Barcelona with a 2 or 3 goal win, they become the most dangerous side for Barcelona to play. Why is that? Because they're the best side remaining in transition. And Barcelona will throw everything at them if they're down on aggregate in that second leg. Then they play against an Arsenal side who I think Arsenal has their issues, right? Arsenal sometimes concede the stupid goal. Sometimes they are really reliant on set pieces. Athletic will do their best not to give Arsenal a ton of set pieces. So unless Atleti is just really bad in that first leg and Simeone cannot go to his patented low block, they have a really good chance to beat Barcelona. And now I think it's more of a coin flip than the books do against Arsenal. So that gives me plus 800 9.0 odds for them to reach the final, which is more than enough value for me.
I also think they can defend against Arsenal's set pieces. They have shown in the past and throughout the whole season that Atletico are equally good in defending and, of course, attacking set pieces. Uh, with the tall defensive players they have, like Jimenez or whoever. Okay, I think we can move to the second tier of European club football, which is Europa League. And I'll cut straight to the chase here. I was in between two picks. I think I chose the safest one. My initial thought was to hit the underdog Celta to reach a final. They have shown some
They
good things.
have.
Whoever says they were lucky against Lyon, that's not the case.
No.
I mean,
And
even
you
without
also
the
you
red
make
card, they
your
were
own luck.
better. Yeah, true. That's absolutely true. But I decided to go with something more obvious in my eyes, at least in my eyes, and you will see why I'm saying that. Aston Villa, Unai Emery. Does this team finally deserve a chance to win a major European trophy? I think they do. I mean, look who won it last year. It was Tottenham, and
Yep.
okay, Tottenham are wouldn't say the word because we would get banned, but I think that this Aston Villa team is impossible to skip when talking about the Europa League winner. I think they will eliminate everyone in their path. Their path is not that hard, with Betis and or Braga and the quarterfinal. I don't remember who they play in the quarterfinal actually, but they're gonna win against them. I think they will win it through defense, as you said. We expect Bayern to do as well. I think that in a tie, in a knockout tie, it's not easy to score against them. We saw it against again in their matchup vs Lille, which Lille is an attacking team from nature, but they still couldn't score against this Aston Villa defense. The odds, I think the odds are sufferable. I mean, they're okay, 2.75. Sure, sure, it's close to 3. I'll take it. Why not? What do you think on that?
Listen, I don't think that's bad at all. Unai Emery, I think a lot of people forget that Unai Emery is the king of Europa. If he can get his squad to that final, I don't doubt they will win. He will do everything in his power to form his team into a win. It's funny that you said Celta, right? I was going to take Celta to win it all. And just because I think they have a really favorable side of the bracket. But anybody who's followed me and watches my shows and listens to me, and at this point read my writing, this was back when I was NBC, I was on Inter Milan to win Champions League. Then we got to the final. And Inter Milan were such a big underdog, I couldn't even hedge. And they got beat 5-0. I just watched it happen. And so I know that when we get to Celta, if Celta gets to the final and they play against, I think, any of the 4 teams, maybe Forest, they wouldn't be, there would be at least a plus 200 underdog. And that's just not enough for me to hedge. I think Aston Villa are a really good bet. I actually went on the same quadrant in the orange path with Porto to win it all. For me, I think the 3 teams that can win this, Celta, that's value because of the side they're on. I think they're the hottest team on that side of the bracket. Porto, 4 teams. I'm going to say 4 teams. Bologna and Aston Villa. Aston Villa. Woo, I was doing some Spanish there real quick. So my problem with betting on Aston Villa, why I didn't take them, was because I legitimately could see Bologna on their best day beating Aston Villa and then just locking down over 2 legs and just locking down. And so the price felt a little short to me. But Porto is 4-1. I think Porto cruises past Forest. People are going to forget this, but Porto beat the best team in Europa League in Stuttgart. And they didn't just beat them. They beat them 4-1 on aggregate. They are dominant. And they showed that they can be dominant home and away. Everyone knows about how tough it is to play in Portugal. Porto also are a team that I think losing Samu was detrimental, but it made all the other players step up in terms of goal contribution, which really helped them out a lot. And they weren't just so focused on sending him balls and feeding him balls, but actually moving the ball around. So I like your pick a lot, and we'll probably meet in the quarterfinals. Hopefully one of us wins it, but I'm on Porto to win Europa League.
I think it will be the semifinals. Aston Villa vs Porto.
Yep.
Personally, I
Same
don't
way.
see Bologna, to be fair.
No, I think
But
Bologna would have to get pretty lucky, but they're a team that they had just won like 6 matches in a row, right? They're a team that has the talent. I don't know if they have the coaching.
so you see Celta, just like I do, reaching the final from the other path. So okay, let's hope it's either Porto vs Celta or Aston Villa vs Celta. We would have placed, we'd have placed the respective bets by then. Try to hedge everything. Now let's go to the farmers.
Ugh.
Conference League. It's not Europa Conference League anymore. Crystal Palace. Full stop. Crystal Palace. Who else?
It
Fiorentina?
has to
No.
be.
Rayo? No. AEK Athens? No. Mainz.
Heck
Mainz are
no.
my tricky underdog there.
Listen, Mainz is the type of team that if they win this tournament, it would make me hate sports betting forever. Because Mainz would be the team that would get put together the perfect scenario of games. I don't think they'd be deserving at all.
I see them advancing over Strasbourg.
I don't think so.
You don't think
Strasbourg
so?
over 2 legs? Yeah, no. But they're favorites. They're favorites to advance
They
over
are favorite.
Strasbourg.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I see some great underdog value in Mainz. Uh, both to advance Strasbourg, and go all the way.
Could you
But
imagine
yeah, Crystal
Mainz
Palace.
Can you imagine Mainz playing against like Athens? Mainz would concede 2 goals, and then it would just be like, whatever happens, happens. We have no idea
Yeah.
who's gonna win. It's just gonna be
Yes.
a free for all. That's the semifinal match we need. Like Athens versus Mainz. I don't want to see Rio because Rio just too organized and too tough. It would just be like boring. It'd be someone win one leg 1-0, the other person win the other leg 1-0.
I think Rayo are in the state right now that they have to think like Nottingham Forest. They have to battle against relegation, which
Yes,
is a very tough task. So I
very good
I don't
call.
think how concentrated, how focused they will be on Europa or Conference League respectively. So Crystal Palace at 3.25 odds at the moment are very very valuable favorites to win it. I would take it any time of the day. So we agree on that, I guess.
We agree. Crystal Palace, if they don't win this, will be detrimental. And listen, I could see a world where Fiorentina win this tie against Crystal Palace, but I couldn't see a world where Fiorentina could defend well enough for over what would that be 9 matches, 2,
They're in the same
4,
state.
5 matches. So I think Crystal Palace is all the value.
They're in the same state as Nottingham Forest and Rayo Vallecano at the moment.
Big time. Like, I remember. Listen, I'm going to be in Florence, and I'm like monitoring the relegation battle just to see if I'll be watching them in league in Serie A
Went to
next year in
Horsham,
Serie
yeah.
B.
Yeah. Serie B is okay, I
It's
guess.
okay. Tickets will be cheaper.
Yeah, true, definitely.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so this let me recap our predictions for the UEFA leagues before we move over to the next section. We both have Atletico to reach the final at 9 odds. You also have Bayern Munich at 4.50 plus 350 American to win the whole thing in Champions League. My prediction for Europa League is Aston Villa to win it. Yours is Porto, and we both took Crystal Palace to win the Conference League, as it's an obvious thing to do. Let's move to some domestic football. Europe's top 3 leagues. First, I thought about including Bundesliga and Serie A and Liga, sorry, to our outright predictions. But in Bundesliga, I think pretty much everything is
Yeah.
settled. I also don't think Wolfsburg avoiding relegation against St. Pauli. They play against each other in the final match day, but Wolfsburg's defense looks like a playground at the moment. In Ligue 1, it's Paris Saint-Germain and everybody else, as usual. So let's go to the big one, the Premier League. I take West Ham to get relegated and double my stake for the very obvious reason, which is the sack of Igor Tudor. There is no more Igor Tudor in Tottenham. That's a huge X factor. She could get them relegated. I called it. I have called it before, but they did the right thing and got rid of him. West Ham without Lucas Paqueta are not just don't feel like the same team. I don't think that Nuno Espirito Santo can do any miracles and save this team. But I would really like to hear your opinion on this matter.
It's tough. This is a really tough one for me because obviously West Ham ultimately are the favorite to be relegated over Tottenham. They have a negative 21 goal differential versus Tottenham's 10. But for me, it's a mixture or a combo of so many changes. Tottenham being on their third manager, third different system in one season just feels so sketchy. Both of these teams have really brutal schedules coming in. Really, right? Let's go through Tottenham's. They had to play away at Sunderland, Brighton, away at Wolves, away at Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, Everton. All tough matches. There's no free rides for West Ham either. Luckily, they get Wolves at home, but away at Palace, Everton, away at Brentford, Arsenal, and then away at Newcastle. So for me, it was about continuity. While this West Ham team really stinks, at least them having Nuno in place for this relegation battle gives me a little bit more faith over a team that not only is going to be without their head coach in changing, bringing De Zerbi in, whatever, if that happens, they're going to be without their set piece coach. They're going to be without their goalkeeper coach. So many changes just gives me a little bit more value. And I don't think these players care, right? Like, at least one thing about West Ham is like they might stink, but their work rate is tremendous. They work really hard. They really care. Tottenham fans aren't caring. They're not bought. I mean, Tottenham players, they're not bought in. So for me, I went with Tottenham to be relegated.
Maybe they can't. It's just not only that they don't care. Sometimes it feels like, the whole roster can't cope up with Tottenham's name and the expectations there is from their fans. Um, well, I guess that now that Nottingham and Leeds are off the hook, these are the only two viable options in the relegation battle. It's true that West Ham has an easier schedule. Even teams like Crystal Palace, will be won't have any goals till the end of the season. They will focus on Conference League that we talked about before. Your your pick is slightly more valuable than mine. I recognize that. Let's see which one will be the winning. And you see Nottingham Forest, getting relegated all of a sudden. Yeah, that's life. Okay, let's go to Spain, La Liga. Not much to say there. I think Barcelona are done with the title race because Real Madrid just can't cope with that domestically. So I have a hot take for the third place. The market in most bookies is called the winner without Barcelona and Real. And I will take Villarreal to finish over Atletico Madrid at 2.21 odds, simply because Atletico Madrid have to focus on the Champions League. This is their golden opportunity. The path is wide open. When I say wide open, the path doesn't include Bayern Munich, who would match their play style better. Bayern Munich, Atletico's play style would match Bayern Munich better. Sorry, let me correct this. They can eliminate Barcelona the way you also described. They can eliminate Arsenal the way you also described. The path to Budapest is wide open for them. To do this, they must get rid of their of their championship of any. I don't think they have title aspirations, but of any third place aspirations. It's the same thing. Finishing third and fourth feels absolutely like the same thing. Villarreal have no other competitions to play on, have no other matches other than La Liga matches. And the thing that also convinced me was the final match day before the interruption for the national clubs, where VRL destroyed Real Sociedad. And you know how highly I think for Pellegrino Matarazzo's Real Sociedad. I've also said it on this podcast. Other than that, I wouldn't like to get involved into the relegation battle with Elche or Mallorca or to the European places. So VRL to finish third is my option from La Liga.
I like it. I didn't have one, and just because I didn't want to trust Villarreal, but Diego Simeone has made it very clear they are not prioritizing La Liga because top four finish is all they need. They don't need to be third. They don't need to be second. So yours makes a ton of sense, but I'm not even going to bore anybody to death of reasons why I don't trust Villarreal. So I just stayed off of that one entirely.
You have something for Serie A,
I do. You want me to kick things off?
your favorite. Yep.
Yeah. Serie A, love the league, right? And this, before I give my pick, I want people to remember that in sports betting, just because something is juicy doesn't mean it's a bad bet, right? Sports betting is always a world of probabilities. So if your number, your implied probability is higher than the projected number, you're most likely going to win, right? And that's what I'm doing here. I'm taking Lautaro Martinez Golden Boot at minus 280. And this is a really juicy bet. Implied probability is giving it a 73.7% chance. Lautaro comes back this week. But I do not really care about his performance this week because he's not going to be rushed back. He's going to be eased back. But the remaining schedule for their team has been pretty fun in terms of not rushing him back, and I don't think he's going to lose much ground. They play against Roma, right? And that's the most important game of who cares if he's 100% back, because that game I didn't think he was going to have like a 5-goal outburst or anything like that. Right? Next, they play against Como. I think this is important because Duvikas is in second place, 3 goals behind. So this is now a head-to-head where they play against each other. I have this game 1-1. So at most, I think if he doesn't score, I think there's a chance that Nico Paz is the goal scorer for that game. So now we're still at a 3-goal. Well, now they get to play Cagliari, Torino, Parma in their next 3 club matches where I project they score 3 or more against Cagliari, 2 or more against Torino, 2 or more against Parma, giving him ample opportunities to score. Let's not forget that Cagliari and Parma are both really undisciplined teams, which bring in the factor and the possibility of penalty kicks. The benefit of why I'm talking about penalty kicks is Duvikas does not take the penalty kicks for Como. And Como have actually a treacherous schedule in terms of what's coming up. No free goals against Udinese. Then we talked about Inter. No free goals away at Sassuolo. No free goals when they play away at Genoa, who average a conceded goal of about 1 per contest at home. No free goals against Napoli, and Verona will be fighting for their lives. I like him to win the Golden Boot. I have it projected closer to 90% than 73. So at minus 280, there's still a ton of value.
I also have one myself. Inter to win the champ. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It depends. Listen, if you are in Las Vegas and you have some extra cash and you want a free meal ticket, go put 5,000 down on Inter to win Serie A. Go get a couple free meals from the sports book comping you, and then pick up your ticket in a couple months.
Or
And you
just
can even mail it back in and they'll send you a check.
watch Milan, doing the most epic turnaround of the last years and cry
I would
my
throw
butt
up.
off. That can happen. Uh, I have a pick myself from the Serie A that's kinda connected to yours because You actually described exactly what I had in mind. I'm taking Juventus to finish in the top four over
Ooh.
Como. Yes, I thought you would be the one to say it, but it's the last episode. I tried to please you as much as I
Yes,
can.
I love
You
it.
know, 2.75 odds, and with a 3 points difference, I see so much value in it. Uh, I mean, you called it yourself. Mo are are on a tough schedule. They have to play against Inter, against Napoli, away to Genoa, against Udinese. Well, Juventus, not so much. They have an easier schedule than Como. Both are in form at the moment. Okay, Como is, of course, the hottest team in the league, but after the international break, after the final international break of the season, we've seen teams losing their momentum. And I think that, okay, Como have actually been consistent in 2026, mostly in 2026, but I think this is going to end. Also, it's a bit sad that the second best goal scorer in the league after 30 games has 11 goals. What's wrong with that? And it's not a lot, it's not like the old Serie A, where goals
Yeah.
are not scored, but that shows that the quality of the attackers has toned down a bit. I see Kenan Yildiz retaining his form and leading Juventus
Yes.
to the top four in the Champions League position. Roma have seemed to lose momentum, so I don't think they're a viable contender for fourth position. Atalanta are now far behind. They're 4 points behind Juventus and 7 behind Como. So the battle, in my eyes, is head to head. Como will lose momentum. They will lose points. I don't say that Juventus, of course, will win it all till the end, but they just need to win 4 more points and get some Champions League football. Now, I think that we can go to the main event of football. We have a World Cup
Yeah, baby.
upcoming in your country, a part of it at least, including the final, of course. From our notes here, I see that we have kind of a different approach to this. I have more, counted on group betting. You have been more versatile in where you got your picks from. So I would like to start. I would like to show some proper good betting, group betting to our audience. And I have mostly focused on Group L.
Okay.
Group L consists of England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. And I have two picks from Group L that are, dependent on each other. I have watched Ghana as of late, friendly they gave on Saturday and some other matches. Because, as you know, the African Cup of Nations might be my favorite competition in the world in terms of content. We saw what happened. They don't know who's the champion yet between Senegal and Morocco. So I'll take Ghana not to qualify from Group L. And that means that even they finish third, I don't see them being among the best third placed teams of the group stage. And that's because I don't trust them to win against Panama. I'm not talking about England and Croatia, of course. They will lose to both England and Croatia, but I don't even see them winning against Panama. Which leaves me to my second pick, that is England and Croatia in a straight forecast, first and second in Group L. Maybe they will do it with a draw in the match against each other. We've seen England qualifying with a draw and finishing first in the last Euros, where They drew against Denmark. They drew against Slovenia, but they were still first. I expect both of them to take either from 7 points each or 9 and 6. But either way, England will be able to outscore them, especially in the game against Panama. I don't see how England play that terrible football they played at the Euros. It was a god awful team. Maybe the worst attacking display England has ever produced in a major competition. I'm not talking, of course, about Roy Hodgson's England in that 2016 Euros. That was terrible. But with odds, my forecast bets odds are at 1.84. Ghana not to qualify 2.36. The value is very high. And also I see the Path C winner of the UEFA playoffs, which will probably be Turkey. We called it last week as well, to win Group D, which includes your Team USA and Paraguay and Australia at 3.50 odds. We talked about Turkey in the last episode, how strong they are, attacking wise. I think that Team USA will have, the stress of the hosts. It's not easy to host a competition and have your crowd with so many expectations. But I would like to also hear your take on this summer's World Cup.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are going to watch this in the States and be really happy with your Path C, your Group D winner projection, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to give you my picks. I'm going to go first, France to win it all. Their price is slightly disrespectful, plus 750. France arguably have the best back line in the World Cup. Then they arguably have the best attack in the World Cup. Now, the question really comes the midfield. My problem right now with France's midfield is not personnel. It is, does Deschamps deploy the best 11 that can win every game, give him the best chance to win, or the best 11 in his mind, which I think are very different, right? Like if you put Tchouaméni or Camavinga in over Rabiot, it's vastly different. But for some reason, Rabiot continuously gets starts, and I think that's probably the detriment of the team. But this is a team in attack alone that has 6 players that can change the outcome of a game, right? That's Ousmane Dembele, Kylian Mbappe, Hugo Ekitike, and Desiree Doué. Now, if you want to get a little more fancy, from what I've seen this team's possibilities, they can play one of the two in attack instead of midfield in Michael Olise or Ryan Cherky. But even if they do play both in the midfield, they go Olise and Cherky, then they have Camavinga or Tchouaméni in the midfield, or they have Rabiot. But this team is so ultra talented. What makes them even more exciting is how much depth they have. They have depth. They're too deep at every position. Some players I didn't name as depth players: Zaire Emery, Menges, Akliouche. I didn't even wait. I totally disrespected Manu Kone because he's going to be a starter. So what am I talking about, right? Manu Kone is a guaranteed starter. Then you have N'Golo Kante as a backup piece. You have Kalulu as a backup piece in the defense. Marcus Thuram a backup piece. Plus 750. They should be plus 500. The next bet I'm going to go to, this goes back to is there value on a juice line? First time winner of the World Cup. And if anybody does not want to play this bet at minus 270, you could parlay it with Arsenal to advance over Sporting in Champions League. Or you can pair it with, I had another one for you and I didn't want to forget it. Or you can pair it with Manchester United to finish inside the top 4. My bet is, will there be a first-time winner of the World Cup? No, at minus 270. Some of the contenders, and let's be for real when we talk about contenders, because that term is often used loosely. Some of the contenders that have not won a World Cup, Portugal, Netherlands. That's about it. Do I think Sweden strong enough? I don't even know if Sweden is going to get past Poland in their qualifying match. Mexico does have some of this home field advantage, but they're definitely not strong enough. Japan, not strong enough. Belgium, no, that team is a joke. No offense. And Croatia, too old. So for me, the only real threat out of the non-winners is Portugal, and I feel that I'm genuinely placing a bet on no for Portugal to not win the World Cup. They're a good story. They're fun. They have a lot of talent, but their team construction is not good enough to win it all. And let's just talk about their team for 30 seconds while I still have the floor here. Rafael Leao will not give you enough night in and night out. Then you talk about João Felix, who's playing decent over there in Saudi Arabia, just not good enough. Trincão's having a good season, not good enough. Chico, good season, not good enough. Pedro Neto, not good enough. These guys are not good enough individual talents to be consistent difference makers. You do have Ronaldo, but the dude is 41 years old. And then defensively, they're solid, but it's a lot of I think players who are going to be playing different roles on this team than they play on their domestic teams, which is a lot of change in continuity. My last one, Italy, Turkey to advance from the playoffs. I'm parlaying them. It's minus 122. I think both of them get the job done. I think Turkey just have too much talent against Kosovo. And I'm actually drawing a blank right now. I just blew my mind. I can't remember who's Bosnia. Italy versus Bosnia. Italy, if they don't qualify, will be the biggest failure of Italian football that we've seen in the last 20 years.
I think it will be even worse than when they got eliminated by North Macedonia
Yeah.
in the Euros. Your bet against Portugal is a very, very solid one because this is quite a Ronaldo-centered team, even if
Yes.
he's not gonna start games. Everybody will be dealing with Ronaldo. Well, why isn't Ronaldo starting, or why is Ronaldo starting? Depending on what Martinez tries to do. Also, France, the fact that they have 5 strong lineups scares me a lot. But to be fair, I
It's
don't want to see
crazy.
Mbappe winning anything else on a big stage. I just don't like the guy. I would like France to win it and Michael Olise to win Golden Ball. That could be a good one, but in Mbappe's team, it's not gonna happen. Okay, now that we're done with football, as you've seen, we've run way over, but it's the last show, so we can do whatever we
Yes.
want. You should visit. No, you must visit Bookmakers Bet to get the bookies with the best odds on these outrights. I'll make sure to post the odds, the picks on social media as well, in order not to lose track. It's time to shift the conversation to basketball. We're going to your side of the Atlantic, the NBA. What is going to happen in the NBA and what we have seen so far in the NBA? Of course, we're talking about your home league, so you're the most suitable person to start over us two.
Yeah, and I'll be brief with these because I don't think it needs much to talk about. So first, I'm going to go with a value bet on Luka Doncic to win MVP. SGA's number is falling. He was as high as minus 600, now back down to the minus 200 range. If he misses time, he could be out. Wembayama, if he misses time, he could be out of it. Luka still has like 7 games that he can miss and not be out of the contention. Right now, Luka Doncic is averaging 33, 8, and 8 while shooting 48% from field and 37 from 3, leading the third-ranked Los Angeles Lakers. I think there's a lot of value on.
Uh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Wemby and SGA are on the verge of being ineligible. I hope that our wives don't watch this specific part of the podcast, you can see uh, what a divorce does to a man.
Yes, he's been in savage mode. He'll be out
Come
next
on,
game though, unfortunately, because of the technical foul,
ah,
but
okay, that would happen. As a Mavs fan, I'm used to Luka Doncic being on the verge of getting disqualified and losing one game. But I think you dig deep and you find some real value in this.
yep.
Let's see what will happen in the playoffs. My first one is the Celtics to reach the NBA Finals, which means to win the Eastern Conference. The only viable pair I see for the Eastern Conference Finals is the Celtics and the Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers is just because they acquired James Harden, who is going to bring some know-how in winning instead of Darius Garland. I think he was the piece that was missing to making this great defensive team. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, and my personal favorite, Dean Wade. The way he hedges out, wow, incredible. And of course, make help Donovan Mitchell take the ball off his hands, and help him score better around the court. So I have a dual pick of the Celtics reaching the NBA Finals by winning the Eastern Conference, and the Pistons getting eliminated in the Eastern Conference semifinals, probably by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, I don't know how Kate Cunningham is going to recover from what happened to him. We've seen Jalen Duran stepping up, but when you lose your star player and your star player is Kate Cunningham, you don't have much of a hope
Yep.
to reach high in the playoffs. And I see a juicy one here. I see we're disagreeing on the West.
We are. We're disagreeing on the West. I took the Celtics. We agree on the Celtics, right? So that's easy. I'm going with the Spurs to win the East. The Spurs have consistently shown that they can go toe to toe with the Thunder, beating them in the cup, beating them multiple times over the season. They have the length to defend, the length to stop SGA. SGA's biggest or most impactful ability is getting into the paint and shooting in the mid range. Victor Wembanyama pretty much eliminates that. So I have the Spurs to win the West at plus 350.
Have the Spurs to get eliminated in the conference
Woo!
finals, though,
We're going head to head.
but not to the Oklahoma City Thunder, but to the Denver Nuggets. I see the Nuggets advancing to the NBA Finals this year. I don't know how will they cope with the Celtics, but I also see the Denver Nuggets eliminating the Oklahoma City Thunder on the way to
Yeah.
facing the Spurs. Then that dude from Serbia doing classic things from Serbia, throwing the ball like an apple, or the natural things he does. This year, I think it's finally time for playoff Murray
Woo!
to step up after a couple of mediocre playoff campaigns. I think that we've seen Jamal Murray healthy enough this year. He's on his usual standards, the standards that we got used to him about 3 or 4 years ago. That waste of human space, Michael Porter Jr. is out of the team. We saw him doing some typical ball hogging away in Brooklyn. Cam Johnson and Bruce Bowen will be a couple of X factors, mostly defensively, because that that's what the Nuggets were missing the last couple of years. So I see a head-to-head of Nuggets vs Celtics, and the San Antonio Spurs getting eliminated in the Western Conference Finals.
That
Over
hurts.
to NCAA. Let's stay overseas. Obviously, I know very few things about NCAA, so the stage is yours on this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one because part of me wanted to go ahead and just take value and take either Illinois or Connecticut to win, but they're just vastly different, especially in Ken Palm ratings, right? This Michigan team is first in Ken Palm ratings with a net rating of 39.02, and Arizona, who they're playing in the Final Four, at 38.76, where the next two teams in Illinois is 34.41, and at number 9 is Kentucky at 29.11. I'm going with Michigan to win it all at plus 175. I legitimately think you could take Arizona or Michigan. It's really just dealer's choice who you think the stronger of the two teams are. And I actually think it's going to be Michigan. I think their size can contend. I think that Lindenbaugh is playing really well. And I think they have elite guard play at times. And when you have the size, you have a forward who's probably the best basketball player in the country. You're going to win more games than not, and it looks like they are getting hot at the right time.
For Illinois, to be honest, because of Andrei Stojakovic.
So that's my short version.
Okay, and we'll come back to Europe. Of course, I couldn't leave you without the EuroLeague. I have 3 picks, and I would, first I would actually like to say how I predict the rest of the season goes. We are 4 games before the playoffs. The regular season is on fire. I expect the first 4 teams to be Fenerbahce, Olympiacos, Real Madrid, and Valencia. I also expect Panathinaikos to finish 5th in the standings. And after that, it will most probably be Hapoel Tel Aviv from Israel, or Zalgiris Kaunas from Lithuania. I see Hapoel getting eliminated in a playoff series against whoever they play against. Either it is Olympiacos or Real Madrid. Maybe they stand a chance against Valencia, but I don't expect them to cross paths with Valencia. They surely have a disadvantage of relying too much on former NBA player Vasily Amisic. And in a 5-game series, which usually go down in defense, this will be a crucial 2.10 average odds. Then I see Olympiacos reaching the Final Four, but getting eliminated in the semifinal, most probably against Real Madrid. All EuroLeague followers know what happens when Olympiacos and Real Madrid cross paths in Final Fours. We have one lost semifinal, 2025, a lost final, 2024, and it was a pretty painful one. Another lost final in 2015. We have to go way back in order to find an Olympiacos win against Real Madrid in a EuroLeague Final Four in 2013. This would pay out at 3.75 odds, and I can see either Panathinaikos at home or Real Madrid, who is my favorite to win the league. The 2.60 odds, you can take the combo there, either Panathinaikos or Real Madrid, as the market is. Panathinaikos, with the addition of Nigel Hayes-Davis and the return of Matthias Lesor, have become very strong, even if they have a very hectic rotation. Some players not performing to their best. And Real Madrid, in my eyes, are the strongest team uh, in both ends of the court. I have said many times that Fener are by far the best defense in the league, but when it comes, to comparing offensive and defensive ratings, Real Madrid are up there, are in the top 5 of both. And now that Theo Maledon is adjusted, finally, to their play style, I think they're the most viable contender. So, the end of the ride. This is what will go down in major football and basketball competitions. We called it. We hope you follow.
What a show. Man, listen, I hope that you guys cash some big bets with us.
Sure about it, man. I'm sure about it. And this show is always made for you, you know? You have to spread the word. You have to get people to go back and see and cross check the levels of success we brought to you. You can always find our work on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and every episode on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. All the links are in the episode description, as is the link for bookmakers.bet, the source where you're going to find every verified sportsbook, every good one, of course, every worthy one in the planet.
And remember, to bet a winner, you got to feel a winner. And to feel a winner, you got to be a winner.
Never forget to bet responsibly. Ride or die.